The first thing is that before the tax authority can collect a tax, there must be a base for it, basis. So what the first obligation of the taxpayer is to maintain proper books of accounts. So when a man goes into business, even right from incorporation, the CAC will tell the company to maintain books of accounts and file, because it's expected that the business should continue. So the first obligation of the taxpayer is to maintain proper book of accounts. And the second, let's move on to the obligation. The second is that after maintaining a proper book of account, he is expected to declare all the income and other transactions earned in the course of the year. So he declares his income. And another one is to file his tax returns. File tax returns, that is, returns that contains the information in the accounts, and also other financial documents will constitute returns, and file such returns as and when due. So when we talk about as and when due, there are different due dates for taxpayers to file their returns depending on the tax type. So, and if I may expatiate, the due date for company's income tax differs from the due date from value-added tax. The due date for company's income tax is an annual payment, so you're expected to file that annually. Also, the personal income tax is done annually. The value-added tax is done monthly, because as and when it makes transactions, it's expected to collect the value-added tax and remit to government on the 21st day of the month preceding the month of transaction. However, the company's income tax is an annual payment that is made, The filing is made about 6 months after the accounting year. That is not more than 6 months, which for accounting year that ends December is expected by 30th of June, is filing its returns. By end of June, rather, is filing its returns. We also have different filing dates for capital gains tax. Capital gains tax up to filing period, which we have for January to June. The end of June is expected to file the first returns, while transaction afterwards is expected to be filed by 31st of December. So the obligation of filing of returns is very important. Also has the obligation of paying taxes. You know, I've spoken about filing, keeping book of accounts, filing tax returns, and also has the obligation of paying taxes, except where such taxpayer is so exempted from payment of taxes. Let me take it from the obligation. The obligation, one of them that I missed, was for them to register. Also register when for taxes. However, registration has been made easy now, because if it's a new company that is just starting, registration for both incorporation of business and taxes are done simultaneously, just at the inception. Taxpayers have two obligations. That's obligation as a taxpayer and obligation as an agent of government. So government appoints every taxpayer to also help to collect taxes from those they do business with. Example of such is what we call the withholding tax. So when a taxpayer does another business with another person, probably receives supplies from other businesses, government has appointed the taxpayer receiving such supply to withhold a percentage of the payment due to that supplier. So it depends on what kind of transaction that it is. So we have the withholding tax ranging from 5 to 10%. And so a taxpayer has that obligation as an agent of government to deduct such percentage as in respect to such business they've done and remit to government. The taxpayer also have an obligation as an agent of government to charge value-added tax. You charge the value-added tax and also collect and remit to government. So these are also the obligation of the taxpayers under the law as an agent. Now I will move to what are the rights of taxpayers. We have spoken about their obligations so far. They also have rights. The first thing, a taxpayer has the right to demand for a tax identification number and be issued to by the tax authority. Because the tax identification number is a way which the taxpayer shows that he is actually identify itself as a tax compliant person. That is the first stage. He has the right to ask for a tax identification number. He also has the right to a courteous service from the staff and officers of the tax authority. So a taxpayer has the right to walk up to you and demand for a service. Demand to file his returns, so the taxpayer has the right to be treated courteously. A taxpayer has the right to object to a tax assessment. So when a tax authority has issued an assessment on a taxpayer, the taxpayer has the right to object to it. When he objects to it, he also has the right to appeal such assessment. A taxpayer also has the right to receive a refund whenever he has paid excess tax. So if a taxpayer believes that he has paid more than he's supposed to pay, he has the right to refund, to demand for a refund, and he has the right to receive such refund. I also say the taxpayer also have the right to demand for a tax clearance certificate to show that he has so much fulfilled all his obligations and he has paid taxes under the law. So in overall, taxpayers need to know that every citizen in Nigeria has a role to play in nation building. As much as taxpayers desire good infrastructure, good governance, good government services, good social amenities, taxpayers also have the responsibility to contribute their fair share to funding government business. And the little they pay, the little they earn, they should pay the little taxes that is also due to them. And that is why we say it pays to pay your taxes. Thank you.